Hello Swatantra TV viewers. I am Mahima, welcoming you to our English bulletin with latest news, updates and analysis. Delhi Chief Minister and AAP National Convener Arvind Kejriwal on Sunday announced Kejriwal Ki Guarantee, listing 10 works that will be done on war footing, including to free Indian land from Chinese occupation if the India bloc forms government at the centre. The opposition bloc, which has parties such as AAP, Congress, Trinamool Congress, Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam among others as its members, was formed to take on the BJP-led National Democratic Alliance in the Lok Sabha polls. A day after his release from jail on interim bail, Kejriwal on Saturday said the India bloc will form next the government and his AAP will be part of it. Addressing a press conference on Sunday, the AAP leader said people will have to choose between Modi ki guarantee and Kejriwal ki guarantee. The latter is a brand, Kejriwal said. Kejriwal said while the AAP has fulfilled its guarantees of free power, good schools and mohalla clinics in Delhi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not fulfilled his guarantees. On Kejriwal ki guarantee, he said 24/7 power supply, good education and health facilities, and arranging 2 crore jobs for youths every year are part of it. Kejriwal also promised to end the Agniveer scheme and ensure that farmers get MSP for their crops as per the Swaminathan Commission's report. Kejriwal, who was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate in the Delhi excise policy scam case, was granted interim bail by the Supreme Court on Friday.
इसके पहले कौन था एमपी, यहाँ का सांसद कौन था? किसी को नाम भी नहीं पता होगा। मीनाक्षी लेखी कभी आई आपके यहाँ? शक्ल देखी उसकी? कभी मिलने आई? फोन करते हो फोन उठाती है, मिलने जाते हो मिलती है। ये मिलेगा, सबका फोन उठाता है। रात को 2 बजे जरूरत पड़े फोन उठाता है। ये रात को रात बिरात कोई काम हो जाए, ये फोन उठाएगा, आपसे मिलने आएगा, आपका काम कराएगा, सुख दुख में काम आएगा। सारे जने वोट देना और भारी बहुमत से इनको रिकॉर्ड मार्जिन से जिताना।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not yet mustered the courage to accept the invitation for a debate with Rahul Gandhi, Congress General Secretary Jairam Ramesh said on Sunday, a day after Gandhi accepted the invite. Justice Madan B. Lokur, Justice Ajit P. Shah, both retired judges and N. Ram had written to former Congress Chief Gandhi and the Prime Minister last week inviting them to a platform for a debate on the key Lok Sabha election issues. Day 1 of Rahul Gandhi's letter accepting an invitation to debate the Prime Minister. The 56-inch chest referring to Prime Minister Narendra Modi has not yet mustered the courage to accept the invite, Ramesh said in a post on X. Gandhi on Saturday accepted an invitation for debate with Modi and also said the nation expects the Prime Minister to participate in it. The outgoing PM's interviews to newspapers and TV channels are a complete farce that the country is being subjected to these days. Every tiny detail is orchestrated and managed by him. There is not one thing natural or spontaneous about them except his lies and theatrics, Ramesh said. There is no cross-questioning and no attempt to engage him in a conversation. It is all prescripted. There has been no other political leader in India, current or past, who has dealt with the media in this manner, he said. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi on Sunday targeted Prime Minister Narendra Modi, saying while the BJP has been counting the notes it got from billionaires, his party will conduct a caste census to ensure equality. He was reacting to Modi's remarks on the Congress receiving cash loaded in tempos from Adani and Ambani. In a post on X, Gandhi said the BJP have been counting notes they got from billionaires for the last 10 years. The Congress will X-ray the country through caste census and ensure equitable share for every section. He also shared a party advertisement which takes on the government over the caste census issue. Gandhi and other Congress leaders have said the PM should order a CBI or ED probe into whether Adani and Ambani had sent them black money. The Congress has also asked the Prime Minister to share his views on a socio-economic census. The party in its manifesto has promised to conduct a nationwide socio-economic and caste census to enumerate the castes and subcastes and their socio-economic conditions. Ahead of elections in Andhra Pradesh, TDP leaders K. Raghu Rama Krishna Raju and Ganta Srinivasa Rao faced a significant setback. In a loan evasion case involving the Indian Bank, separate notices were issued for the auction of properties belonging to these two party candidates. Raghu Rama Krishna Raju had obtained a loan of 1,383 crore rupees from a consortium led by Punjab National Bank to establish the Ind-Barath Thermal Power Company in Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu. The Hyderabad-based National Company Law Tribunal issued a notice for the sale of land and plant assets related to the thermal power plants in Tamil Nadu. The NCLT stated that prospective buyers of these assets must submit their bids by 13th June this year. The assets put up for auction include 311 acres of Ind-Barath thermal power lands and 129 acres of land in Hanko village, Karnataka. Similarly, the Indian Bank issued an advertisement to auction the assets of another TDP leader Ganta Srinivasa Rao, who had availed a bank loan of 390.7 crore rupees from the Indian Bank in the name of Pratyusha Resources and Infra PVT Limited in Vishakhapatnam but defaulted on the loan repayment. Consequently, the Indian Bank sent notices announcing the auction of his company's assets and has set 7th June as the last date for submitting bids. The high decibel campaign in Telangana came to an end on Saturday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and top leaders of Congress and BRS held election rallies in the state. Now the stage is now set for polling on Monday to elect 17 Lok Sabha members from the state in a single phase. Congress leaders Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi addressed election meetings in the state. The Election Commission has also made arrangements to conduct a by-poll for the Secunderabad Cantonment Assembly seat to be held tomorrow. A contingent of 73,000 civil police personnel, 500 sections of the state special police, 164 companies of Central Armed Police Forces, 3 companies of Tamil Nadu Police, 2,088 officials from other departments and 7,000 home guards have been deployed as part of security measures, the Telangana DGP office said. All vehicles carrying EVMs and VVPATs are fitted with GPS systems and provided invariably with armed security by central forces. As many as 625 candidates, including Union Minister and Telangana BJP President G. Kishan Reddy, the party's National General Secretary Bandi Sanjay Kumar and senior leader Itla Rajender are among the Saffron Party candidates, while the Congress fielded among others BRS turncoats Dhanam Nagender and K. Kavya. MIM President Asaduddin Owaisi is seeking re-election from the party's bastion of Hyderabad Lok Sabha constituency, and the BJP has fielded a political novice but enthusiastic K. Madhavi Lata who has begun a spirited campaign. The former IPS officer Rupees Praveen Kumar and sitting MP Nam Nageshwar Rao, among others, are in the poll fray from former Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao led BRS. An intense campaign marked by fervent speeches from Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, Chief Minister Y.S. Jagan Mohan Reddy, and several other prominent leaders across political parties. The stage is set for polling on Monday to elect the 175-member Andhra Pradesh Assembly and also 25 Lok Sabha seats from the state. YSRCP President Jagan is contesting from Pulivendula. TDP Supremo N. Chandrababu Naidu from Kuppam and Jana Sena chief and actor Pavan Kalyan from Pithapuram, among others, are in the assembly poll race. Andhra Pradesh Congress President and Jagan's sister Y.S. Sharmila is in fray from Kadapa and BJP State Chief Purandeswari from Rajmahendravaram, among others, are in Lok Sabha poll fray. The YSRCP is contesting in all 175 assembly seats and 25 Lok Sabha segments in the state. The YSR Congress campaign centered on the welfare measures that it implemented during the past 5 years, while the NDA highlighted the failures of the state government and the doles it would provide, if voted to power in the state, and the job creation it would do. For the smooth conduct of the polls, the Election Commission has deployed 1.06 lakh security personnel, who included 3,500 Karnataka Police, 4,500 Tamil Nadu Police, 1,614 ex-servicemen and 246 retired police personnel, among others. .5% of about 12,000 freshers set to join the country's largest lender SBI in FY25 are engineering graduates, its chairman Dinesh Khara has said. The bank is in the process of onboarding up to 12,000 freshers in the roles of probationary officers and associates in FY25, and there is no bias towards onboarding engineers in the ranks, Khara said, stressing that this is not by design. After training the over 3,000 probationary officers and over 8,000 associates with some banking knowledge, they will be channelized into various business roles. It can be noted that this comes at a time when the banking sector is increasing its dependency on technology as it looks for newer ways of enthralling the customer, while some players are also grappling with challenges on this front. The development also comes at a time when the attrition in the IT sector, a favorite job avenue for engineering graduates, is going down, leading to lower hiring by such firms even as the supply of engineering grads is high. State-owned fuel retailers Indian Oil Corporation, Bharat Petroleum Corporation Ltd and Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited reported bumper profits totaling about 81,000 crore rupees in FY24, which far exceeded their annual earning in pre-oil crisis years. The combined standalone net profit of IOC, BPCL and HPCL in April 2023 to March 2024, FY24, was better than their annual earning of 39,356 crore rupees in pre-oil crisis years, regulatory filings by them showed. All the three companies posted the highest ever standalone as well as consolidated net profit in FY24. The retailers have resisted calls to revert to daily price revision and pass on softening in rates to consumers on grounds that prices continue to be extremely volatile, rising on one day and falling on the other, and that they needed to recoup losses incurred in the year when they kept rates lower than cost. IOC in 2023 to 24 posted a standalone net profit of 39,618.84 crore rupees, according to the company's regulatory filing. This is compared with 8,241.82 crore rupees annual net profit in 2020 to 23. While the company could argue that FY23 was impacted by the oil crisis, the FY24 earnings are higher than even the pre-crisis years, 24,184 crore rupees net profit in 2021 to 22 and 21,836 crore rupees in 2020 to 21. BPCL posted a net profit of 26,673.50 crore rupees in FY24, higher than 1,870.10 crore rupees earning in 2022 to 23. The three companies, which control roughly 90% of India's fuel market, foreign investors pulled out a massive 17,000 crore rupees from Indian equities in the first 10 days of the month owing to general election and the uncertainty surrounding its outcome coupled with expensive valuations and profit booking. This was way higher than a net withdrawal of 8,700 crore rupees in the entire April on concerns over a tweak in India's tax treaty with Mauritius and a sustained rise in US bond yields. Before that, FPIs made a net investment of 35,098 crore rupees in March and 1,539 crore rupees in February. Looking ahead, post-general elections, corporate India's strong financial performance in Q4 FY24 is anticipated to be rewarded. While FPIs may adopt a cautious stance until the election results are clear, favorable outcomes and established political stability could see their return in significant numbers, Trivesh D. Ku at Tradejini said. According to the data with the depositories, foreign portfolio investors experienced a net outflow of 17,083 crore rupees in equities till 10th May. There are multiple reasons behind this aggressive selling by FPIs. With the ongoing general election and the uncertainty surrounding its outcome, investors are wary to enter the markets before the election results, according to analysts. artificial intelligence or AI is playing a pivotal role in reshaping learning experiences in the rapidly evolving educational landscape, with universities and edtech platforms at the forefront of this transformation. Industry leaders report a surge in demand for AI skills, with enrollments skyrocketing and a focus on upskilling individuals across career stages. Educational institutions are swiftly adapting and offering specialized AI courses to cater to the evolving skill requirements, reflecting a paradigm shift in the educational landscape toward embracing technology. According to a report by industry body NASSCOM, India ranks first in AI skill penetration with a score of 3.09, driven by higher than average compensation and growth prospects. The market is already showing a high demand for specialized skills, reflected in our enrollment figures. This trend is not limited to mid-career or senior professionals. Even freshers are keen on developing basic AI skills, regardless of their industry ecosystem. Enrollments in tech, data, and GenAI courses on Upgrad reached 6,000 per quarter in FY24, with 1.4 lakh learners joining free courses in a year. The rapid advancement of generative AI is reshaping industries and even putting high-skilled jobs at risk of automation. The soaring demand for GenAI courses on Coursera is indicative of the potential this technology can unlock. Thank you for watching Swatantra TV English Bulletin. For a complete and comprehensive English news bulletin, please do watch Swatantra TV every day. This is Mahima, signing off. Keep watching Swatantra TV.